Hi, Eric Lanask with TMC. We're here in New York City at Cloud Expo, and I'm talking with Open Data Centers' Eric Levitt. Eric, thanks for joining me. Good to see you again.
It's always great to talk with you.
So, tell me some exciting activities for Open Data Centers. Why don't you bring us up to speed on those?
Sure. We recently announced both our public and private cloud offerings, and those facilities start at $30 a month for single-core virtualized processors on the public cloud, and on the private cloud, it starts at about $50 a month. Those facilities are multi-data center and are available today for our clients.
So, offering both public and private, I've been hearing a lot of questions surrounding kind of which way should I go? I need some cloud resources. I want to do some stuff in the cloud. Do I go public? Do I go private? The latest thing is, well, what's the deal with hybrid?
Public cloud is going to be less expensive than a private cloud simply because you're not dedicating the hardware on the public cloud. Excuse me. However, if the clouds are developed in such a way that the software is ubiquitous between the public and private cloud, and that the security layer is in place, then it's not necessarily going to be a linear progression in terms of pricing. So should private cloud be more expensive than public? Yes, by definition it will be. Will it be that much more expensive? Probably not if it's architected correctly. In terms of the notion of do I need private cloud or public cloud, a lot of that revolves around security. We would hope that public clouds by definition should be very secure. And companies like Aladdin Systems are developing a lot for those both public and private clouds. Clearly, a private cloud is going to be more secure simply because it can be architected in a private network. So without internet access or without any public network access, it could be taken to another layer of security. But that becomes an individualized question based on the requirements, based on the individual requirements of the clients.
How much do you see customers doing both with you? And does the fact that you offer public and private facilities make it easier for your customers to connect resources in their private clouds to resources that they're using public cloud for?
One reason that people use a lot of public cloud is because of need for instantaneous compute. We have several information services companies that during the day need to spin up a lot of cycles very quickly, and they're literally billing by the hour. So they turn up a system at 8 a.m., they need it until 6 p.m., they spin it down, and the template, and it goes back into a template. So in that case, they're using their own private clouds for their static computing requirement, and then for their dynamic computing requirement, kind of over the top, they're going to the public cloud. Another reason why you might use both, let's say, for example, you're a financial services firm, and you want to keep your core banking solution private, but you look at your front end, say your website, and you say, well, that's public anyway, so there's already a certain level of public network access and availability to that. So let's just host it on the public cloud because the security requirement just isn't quite there. So there's a very strong rationale, both from a perspective of cost savings as well as operational efficiency, to use both a hybrid of the public and the private offerings.
So you alluded to it earlier, the notion of public cloud, the security requirements and security stability, I guess, within public cloud environments. Is how far away from that are we, or are we there at a security place where public clouds really can be trusted for those mission critical and very sensitive data?
Well, I believe that the software is clearly there. Citrix, VMware, all have solutions where there's really no data leak within the hypervisors to the individual virtual machines. I think more of security always has to do with the operating environment. Has the operating environment caught up to the capability of software? Similar on the voice side to use of systems like Asterisk and fail to ban. Systems get hacked because of the inherent operational issues in running those systems or the failure of those operating components. In anyone that's responsibly operating a public cloud and has implemented all of the necessary tools and has implemented the operating procedures to ensure that if there is an intrusion attempt, that it's noticed, and then it's dealt with accordingly, and then it's blocked, so that the intrusion detection layer is there, and that all of the inherent security software, whether it be keystroke authentication, something like SafeWord, for authentication and accounting, if those processes and procedures are in place, you'll be able to run a very secure public cloud.
Which are you seeing growing more rapidly right now, public or private?
Public, definitely. And I think that has to do with the cost involved. And also the fact that you have Amazon with AWS, you have Microsoft with offerings, Windstream, a lot of big players in the industry offering the public clouds. They're still not, I believe, being used for a lot of mission-critical applications, but that will come in time.
Do outages, as we've seen, or security issues that we've seen in some very, very public and large-scale instances, have an impact on how much businesses are willing to put into the public cloud?
Absolutely. Outages and operations are a critical component of running both a public and a hosted private cloud, just as it is in the data center space or in the carrier environment. Everybody wants a stable system, and if somebody has, say, a 96-hour-long outage, that is a substantial impact on their business operations. My belief is that any company that's running a public cloud or a hosted private cloud has to be able to get as close to 100% uptime as possible, because I think that's just the requirements of the industry in this day and age.
What are your best practices for delivering that kind of reliability?
Although we're presently a single data center facility as a data center operator, our cloud is actually hosted in multiple facilities across the country. We're our own facilities-based network operator. We're our own internet service provider. So we have that level of control where we can enforce the policies and procedures that need to be enforced in order to be able to provide that near 100% uptime. And if our customers are purchasing the right assets, meaning that they're purchasing the redundancy, we do guarantee 100% uptime.
Excellent. Eric, as always, thanks for joining me here at Cloud Expo.
Eric, thank you very much.